The following presentation is part of the Beyond the Blast Doors network.
Who's the guy Bombad?
Welcome to the Bombadcast.
What is up, Bombad fam? I'm here, super excited. Gerald and I, very pumped, but I have to say a couple things before we begin. Okay? Right before we begin. As you can tell, if you look over my left shoulder, let's see if we can do it. Can't do it yet. I'm still not good. David Amoletti is probably the greatest at this. I don't know if he does weather, but you know he's good at it. Speaking of David, we're part of the Beyond the Blast Doors network. Yes, that network. If you're watching us right now, you know exactly what we're talking about. You went to the YouTube page. You saw that we posted the video. And other great people post videos too. Pete Fletcher around the galaxy. Fantastic. Holla Chronicles, Andy and Josh, some of the greatest people there. Shannon Moran with postcards from Galaxy's Edge. David Amoletti with Beyond the Blast Doors. News live. Come on. Can't beat it. We also got the amazing streaming Star Wars with fantastic guests, including me and Gerald. We've both been on it. You can go and rewatch the Mando. Anything news and Disney Plus related, it's all going to be there. Okay. And last but not least, you got yours truly, the Bombadcast. Two of the greatest men ever, Jerry and I. And that says so in a book I've read once. And speaking of books, you can get us on Patreon. Has nothing to do with books, but you can become a patron for the Bombadcast and also a patron for all 5 other of these great shows. Okay. So that being said, if you just give us $5, we can take it and buy cigarettes with it. We can take it and buy just giant Watto statues with it. So I think you should give us all your money. And if you care about the content creators on this network, literally anything you give to us, it's all split evenly, and all that money. If it's $5 a month, Jerry and I think make negative 40 cents, and so we'll pay Pete. And it's very exciting to be able to do that. But with all that being said, I'm so stoked. We're talking about a very interesting topic. A lot of things that people haven't realized yet, but it's the future of audiobooks. Look at the little thing right there. Future of audiobooks. Okay? With that being said, the man himself, he is a living audiobook. If you've ever done a podcast with him, he honestly doesn't stop talking. And I'm referring to the one and only Gerald, the Candle Junkled Cable. Jerry, what is up?
Hey, not much, man. And I don't think I've ever had a more accurate description of me than the human audiobook. That is really don't. I hope that my wife doesn't watch this, because then that's all I'll ever get. Also, you may want to watch out, because I think a lot of angry Twitter users and IG-11 might burst down your door with how you treated the child a little bit ago.
Oh, you saw that?
Yeah. That was equivalent to punching the baby, I think.
I love that moment, by the way. So every time
it's so dark, but it's so good.
Literally, I was watching with John, and we were at his place, and we were both like, "Please stop! Like, this is so hard to watch."
Why are you doing
I'm
that?
talking. We're like, stop making noise. It's great. It's fantastic. Jerry, how you feeling, bro? You doing okay?
I'm feeling pretty good, man. I'm hanging out here in the undisclosed location, undisclosed basement in West Michigan. Just
sounds like that scene from it sounds like Silence of the Lambs.
A little bit.
What's his name? It was Buffalo Bill.
Buffalo Bill. Oh, you think? Yes. Well,
just the motion on his skin before it gets the hose again.
If that's the case, then you guys might have to cut away because this might get weird later.
Hey.
So
Bombad.
depends on how much coffee I have.
To stay weird. Jerry, we had a great
Tuck
episode.
Bombad.
Oh my God. Silence of the Bombad. Silence of the Bombad cast. No, our most recent episode, our 50th episode, was so much fun. I don't know if anyone else saw it. I was in full Paul Stanley makeup. I know. And I'm sure you're a little disappointed today because here I am not in full
Scotty,
Paul Stanley makeup.
Stop lying. Stop lying. You're in full you're like the Joker. You're in full makeup now, and you have like one of those wigs. Like you had to pull your big curly ponytail is hanging in the back.
It is.
We CGI that out in post.
We do. We're really good about that.
It's very good.
I have makeup on. Just I put like a skin of my face. Jerry, how are you?
I'm pretty good. Well, as we're recording this, it is Father's Day. And we were out for a little Day. Yeah, well, thank you. And by the time people listen to this, they're going to be like, happy belated Father's Day. But we were driving around, had taken a little drive, Father's Day drive, got some ice cream. And while we're out, Scotty, my little Padawan, we're just up there, Allison and I are up in the front talking, and she goes, "Do you hear what she's saying?" And I'm listening. She had been watching, like, again, this is Father's Day Sunday, our premiere of our Bombad episode last week. Yeah. She watched the end of it with me. And we should have had a Bombad counter because we probably said "Stay Bombad" at least 612 times. But anyway, by the end of it and everything, she loved your makeup and all that. She thought it was so funny. She's like awesome. Pointing to go, like, look, mom, look at Mr. Scotty. I love Mr. Scotty. And today she's in the van, in her seat in the van, driving. We're driving to get ice cream. She's going, "Stay Bombad, stay Bombad, stay Bombad," over and over and over. Allison got a tiny little video of it, so maybe I'll share that because
oh my God,
I'm all into this sharenting thing, I guess.
Dude, that is amazing.
Yeah, dude, it was pretty proud dad moment. I was like, also the other day, Scott, she was wearing her Bombadcast t-shirt as pajamas, wore it all day, would not let me take it off of her to play. Like, I was like, let's put on some play clothes. And she's like, no. And so we just put shorts on with the Bombadcast t-shirt she slept in because, quarantine and all that.
That's precious, Jerry. That's a great scene. You know what? This is, if y'all
warm,
have
fuzzy feelings.
This is part of it. Shannon Moran on this network did a video about what it means to be a dad in Star Wars and having a relationship with your kid. And literally, Jerry, your segment was beautiful. I mean, everyone else that contributed, Yoshi, Vu, Pete. I mean, like, what I'm trying to get at essentially is that's what it means. That really is what it means. And like, I'm not a dad yet, but I was hanging out with Troy and his son today, and like, he's just so sweet. He like fell asleep like right near me. And I'm like, it's so cool to know that like someone or something is that comfortable with me that it'll be like just that relax and be okay. Like we went swimming today. It was a fun day. So like, I don't know, like what a great, that is a great story because that's what it means, man.
Well,
Star Wars dad.
Yeah. And everyone telling me that my part was so beautiful and all that kind of stuff. I fooled you. I got you all. I meant none of it.
He's a terrible
my kid is actually a 30-year-old actress and stuff. Who it's like the movie Orphan or whatever, where it's just like some lady and some really short lady in makeup.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my kid.
Cool. That's
my
awesome.
Kid. Yeah.
I'm glad you admitted it here.
Well, it had to come out sometime. So
yeah.
Yeah, no, I was kidding. Yeah, happy belated Father's Day to all you space dads out there. Even Rick.
Definitely.
Even Rick.
Hey, I haven't told you this yet. You're going to love this. Hold on. My golden birthday is this week. Thursday.
Ooh.
Thursday. I'm turning 25 on the 25th. So there we go.
Very impressive.
It's exciting. I'm excited, man. It's going to be fun. So
yeah, dude.
Get your post written up. Everyone listening. You get your post written up.
Get all typed out, and
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Put in your notes. Go to Hootsuite and schedule it. Make sure it's done.
Get that Venmo warm and ready,
Yep.
ready to go.
I've always wanted to try that. Just imagine like someone like dropping like $100 in your account randomly. I would die. I would know. I would go buy a guitar. I just wouldn't even think twice about it. Like, all right, buying that double neck SG I've always wanted. But no, man. I
double neck.
I never told you that. That's my dream guitar. Always
double neck SG. You said
double neck SG Epiphone. Like it doesn't even have to be expensive.
I do.
They're so sick, so sick.
I always wanted like a Les Paul that was kind of like an olive green kind of pearlescent kind of stuff. Really, really kind of pretty and stuff.
Wow.
But the SG, only because everyone in a band had an SG back when I was in the music scene and all that stuff. And also I didn't play the guitar. So it did not behoove me to buy said guitar. I had guitars. I had like a Fender Strat and stuff.
That's amazing.
Which is like every Yahoo goes to Walmart could get back in the early 2000s. So
isn't that weird?
They don't sell guitars anymore there.
Super random. Yeah, you want to know why? It's gonna make you think. You want to know why?
People were El Kabonging people, like whacking them over the head with guitars.
That
El Kabong, is that too old of a reference?
I think it's a little too old. I think it's a little too old.
Quick Draw McGraw.
Huh?
Hanna-Barbera cartoons.
Okay, those make sense.
Huckleberry Hound.
Hanna-Barbera, yeah.
Quick Draw McGraw was the horse who was a sheriff, and he had an alter ego who was like Zorro. He wore like a hat and the mask, except he didn't get people with a sword. He hit them over the head with a guitar.
I kind of remember that
because we don't want kids to stab people with swords. We want them to bludgeon people to death with hard instruments. Continue with what you were saying.
Well, the reason why guitars were so popular that you could buy them at Walmart is it's gonna go. You're gonna click and go, oh, that makes sense. It's
Justin
because
Bieber. I'm just kidding.
No, actually, maybe a little bit, but actually,
no, it was before him. Trust me.
And Rock Band, Guitar Hero, and Rock Band.
Everyone thought they could play the guitar because they could play expert.
Dude,
I couldn't even play expert, man.
Dude,
I was like,
I can only do medium and hard.
Like medium. Well, I'm like, this is ridiculous because this is not how I know this is not how you play guitar. I've tried to play guitar before. I was doing power chords in my first band.
Yes.
And anyway, this is now a music podcast.
Well, it's important because
YouTube show. It's a YouTube show now.
We can do whatever we want now.
Yeah.
We can dress up as Paul Stanley. You can do whatever you always do, like that, whatever you got going. This is such a cool look, Jerry. Whatever you do. Yeah. The homeless punk rocker, whatever you have. Sick. Jerry,
I thought it was a real compliment for a second.
Get the cups. Get the cups. Get the cups.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out.
Oh, I forgot to.
Network shout out right now. We got to do it.
Chow down. Get chow down. Okay, hold on, everyone. Hold on.
The cups. We get my other cup.
Well, this is a great.
Get the cups.
This is a great. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I forgot that I need to show you guys. Boom! I have.
Full screen it. Full screen it, Jerry.
Full screen it. Yeah. Look. Oh, display. And here, what Scotty's referring to.
Oh my God.
And I'm kind of sad that the boys over at Black Series Rebels, they did the I have my Watto, I forget what they called him or whatever.
Yeah, I see it.
Of the cup pin. They had a cup Binks that I completely missed.
We tried to get.
We tried. Remember, people were like trying. There were so many people crowding them, and people were like, who is this? And I was like, yeah, and I was like, oh, it's Black Series Rebels. They're like, who? I was like, oh no, it's a YouTube show. And they were like, oh, you should have said it was George Lucas or something. I was like, yeah, I should have. So anyway, but yeah, music cup
Boys. Look what they sent us. Hold on. Jerry,
Hollow Chronicles, Andy and Josh are
I gotta ask you,
the dudes, man.
Do you remember those back in the day? I remember them.
Oh, dude.
Vaguely. I remember them vaguely, but I know you remember it. Look, I'll show you mine. I did get Watto.
That's pretty sick.
Awesome. And then, well, the best part about the Hollow Boys is they kept everything.
Yeah.
So I got General Tarples and I got Watto. But recently, Eric's boss at the job he works.
You just keep him right here the whole time.
He got me this Boss NAS one. No cup though, but I am fine with making this like my paperweight in class.
I had Boss Nass and Captain Tarples.
Wow.
And Anakin with the pod racer.
Yes.
And I think that's it. I think those are the only three I had. So I never had any of these bad boys, and my goodness.
Look at that.
The Black Series Rebels guys, what I was going to say is they missed their chance having a Sebulba pen.
They did.
The Sebulba cup pen.
Look how iconic. Like,
this is
something
legit.
about the Phantom Menace. Why does this work so well?
Why? Because everyone wanted a piece of that marketing because of how much Star Wars toys were going from like the Kenner stuff.
It makes sense. Hey, speaking of, I'm thinking in the future for anyone listening or watching us, we're gonna have the Hollow Boys on with Pete and Bombadcast Boys. We're going to do a whole episode on Phantom Menace marketing and toys. So that'll be a special one, probably coming maybe July, maybe August. So we're working on that right now.
We're going to have to talk about Martha Lamp.
Had to give a shout out because look at the shirt. Look, I even got.
I love that shirt. I love that shirt. That's whoever created that one was a genius. So, all right. Hey, get a room, you guys.
Yeah, I'm sorry. But no,
it's fine. If we're gonna talk about Phantom Menace marketing eventually, we need to. I'm definitely bringing up Marfa Lump and stuff. Shout out to the boys over at Blast Points. Blast Points. There you go. So
we actually are gathered here today to get this thing called life, electric word life, which means forever. That's a long time, but I'm here to tell you,
join in holy matrimony.
The afterworld, a world of never-ending happiness. You can always see the sun day and night. That's the beginning of "Let's Go Crazy" by Prince. I don't remember the rest of it. I used to joke around like in my Catholic school and like recite that and like little edgy. I'm not gonna lie, it's a little edgy.
Yeah.
But we are gathered here.
You're on the edge, man. You're always on the edge.
Edgelord. TLJ sucks. Sorry.
Oh man, we love living on the edge.
Jar Abrams.
Why don't you go watch a real female lead? I'll lead a battle angel. Sorry.
That's pretty good. Oh, that's pretty good, G.
There are no female heroes for my 3-year-old child to look up to. What about Ellen Ripley from the Alien movies? Yeah. Thanks.
That's a great movie to show a 3-year-old.
That's funny. That's what cracks me up. Is like people are like, there's all these female heroes. Like, yeah, in effing rated R films, guys. Yes. Not every kid, not every parent who lived in a trailer park lets their kid watch every single film that they bring home. And sorry, yes. I'm judging, but
no, man.
Yeah. Fun fact. I ran into, when I was in high school, I was buying a Halloween decoration that was a crawling hand. And there was definitely a kid in the checkout line in front of me who could not have been older than 5 years old, who was like, "Oh, that's from Nightmare on Elm Street." And stuff, and like,
they show boobs in that movie.
I mean, kids have seen like their mom's boobs and stuff, but I know what you mean. Like,
hey, what kind of childhood did you have?
Well, you know, anyway, kids see their mom's boobs all the time. No, it's my thing is just like the violence and all that crazy stuff. Sure. I remember that was my first like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I hope you don't become a serial killer, but okay.
See, you know, it's so random. This is so off topic, but when I first watched Aliens, I was like 8 or 9 and it messed me up forever. I kid you not. I remember like having nightmares with my mom. Remember when the Queen Xenomorph comes in and just rips apart the android? Remember like having nightmares with my mom getting ripped apart by the Queen of Xenomorph.
Was she white on the inside with like
yes, that was the worst part of it. Like milky white. Oh, it's gross.
It's so uncomfortable, but awesome. It's
weird. It's great.
Yeah.
Back to the topic at hand, Jerry.
If we have to, I was thinking of other stories of all this kind of stuff. I wanted to make people feel like, you know, like we're really judgmental this episode and stuff. I will say what scared me when I was a kid is after the news at 10 reruns, and this was in the 90s. So
Okay.
reruns of old X-Files episodes. It was the X-Files was still going,
Sure.
but it was old episodes would play right after the 10 o'clock news. And so if
Oh,
I wasn't in bed yet, I would hear it come down the hall. And
That's
there was one night where I remember like I couldn't get in. I had to go to the bathroom, which was by the living room, and I couldn't get close enough because it was like I could hear, oh, what's going on in there? I think someone like gave birth to a demon baby or something. I don't know. X-Files is great. You should watch it. I love it.
Oh, that's awesome.
The end.
The end. Great job. No, it's funny because this kind of plays into it. The Bombadcast is very niche in regards to what we like. And one of the first things Jerry and I ever bonded over was horror films. Now, it was actually weird things like X-Files. But the second thing, at Celebration, we talked about audiobooks. I remember this vividly. And like how great the Star Wars audiobooks are. And like, honest to God, I will never read a Star Wars book. Just gonna be straight up. Except for the Pablo Hidalgo visual dictionaries or all the old visual dictionaries, I'll read those and or the art of books, I'll do that. But I'll never read an audiobook ever. Like I never read an actual book ever. I just don't read books. I can't pay attention. And I don't know. I thought because of recently Pete Fletcher with Around the Galaxy, he had on Mark Thompson. And I was watching that interview and I'm like, oh my God, we need to talk about audiobooks because Jerry and I have done this for a whole year now. We have never talked about audiobooks. And like
most of you probably thought it was because we're illiterate, which is not far off.
We can't read. Pretty much, I have to communicate with Jerry through symbols and pictures. He doesn't understand. Jerry can't watch videos. He gets stressed out. So I have to like send him a photo, and then I
have subtitles on.
Yeah. Well, no, I have to send a photo. Then I have to audio record it. That's how Jerry and I mostly communicate, and we send letters to each other. It takes like weeks to do one of these episodes.
Right now, I'm talking to just a headshot of Scotty.
Yes,
you know,
because
like this
movement freaks Jerry out, and so pretty much what
like a T-Rex.
Mark Thompson. Did you listen to the interview yet, Jerry? It's phenomenal.
I have not yet, but I absolutely love Mark Thompson. Man.
Oh, he's a great. We're friends on Facebook.
I've been off my audiobook game. I've been off. I got to take more drives and stuff. Again, I don't go anywhere during this post-COVID world, and so it's dude. So Mark Thompson though is the Rolls Royce of Star Wars audiobook narrators.
I think of just books in general. I think he's the.
I'm only this positive. I know what a Rolls Royce is too. So
yeah, I'm pretty sure it's.
I don't think they even exist.
I think you're thinking of the medicine Rolls Royce Rolaids.
I knew a guy named Royce from my hometown when I was, still know him. He's still a guy.
That's sick.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's Royce. No. But yeah, this interview with Pete like totally just 100% inspired it, and like it's so great because this network has allowed us to have so many open and great connections with people. And we've talked about this in our group message, things we enjoy. I mean, I am an audiobook dude. Jerry's an audiobook dude. I know Pete likes writing and reading. It's just like this weird thing that most people like to do. And we're also podcasters, so we like listening to things as well. And like you said, I know you used to work a job, Jerry, where like you had a lot of time to listen to audiobooks and podcasts.
Yeah.
And now I'm doing something very similar. Right now, I'm scanning a bunch of old documents from my school over the summer and getting some extra pay for it. So literally all day I've got headphones or speaker in front of me, and I'm just scanning documents all day. It's not fun, but this is what makes it fun. The audiobooks, and it's just so fulfilling.
Those tedious jobs like that where you can listen to music or audiobooks or whatever are the best. I worked at a bank back when I first got married, right before I got married to Al. And no one wanted to go to the back room to do the paper shredder. They had like boxes and boxes of paper to be shredded.
Yes.
And it was a giant industrial shredder, and you had to like take out the bag whenever it was full. It's just so
sick. I love that.
So fun just sitting back there. You're by yourself and all that. Like, I don't mind.
No,
I don't mind.
At all.
In fact, the bank got robbed one time while I was back there doing
Shut
that,
up.
and no one came to get me. And I didn't know. I was just listening to my music and stuff. No lie.
Are you
right
serious?
outside the door? The guy, and anyway, yeah. And
No,
I guess no one came to get me. So, I quit that job after that summer. So,
wait, that's amazing.
Yeah. Well,
So I'm in the same
how
situation.
Rick treats me. I feel like
Yeah,
Rick would leave me if there was a bank job going on.
Knocks on my door and he just leaves me turds on fire, and I can't stand it. I say, and I yell. I know he's on the corner too because I have a Ring camera, and every time I catch him, he just turns to the corner and waits, and he's just like, he's like, hey, he like texts me, got you, and I said, no, you did. I put it in the garbage. He just forgets to light it. He just puts poop on my front. It's in a bag. I open it up. It's gross. I don't know if it's his poop. I don't know.
Yeah, disgusting.
So Rick. But yeah, this job has let me listen to 3 audiobooks. And of course, Paul Stanley's is one of them. I listen to Plagueis, and I'm listening to The Rise of Skywalker right now. And I'm going to listen to probably Elton John's next. But with all that being said,
right. I was just going to say, with the Paul Stanley audiobook, is that kind of the thing? Like, if anyone's ever watched SpongeBob, it's like a supervillain like origin story where like you listen to it so long and so often that Paul Stanley became part of your DNA, like the tickle belt, like tickled the DNA of Man Ray. And you know what I'm talking about? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's tickling my DNA is one of the best lines of anything ever.
The thing about that audiobook is help me perfect my on-stage Paul Stanley and my off-stage Paul Stanley, so I can now talk like actual Paul Stanley. He talks a lot like this, talking about things like, I didn't do any drugs, I didn't drink, but I had a lot of sex, and I loved it. Like literally, it's like the whole audiobook is like, it's amazing. But
then I got the food juice commercial. Anyway, sorry, I'll never forget that. Okay. That being said,
yes, hey, that's my phrase. No, the audiobooks is something that I often fall back to as comfort. And when I was doing long drives, I used to commute to and from my college campus and my home, which was literally like 45 minutes each way. And I could get through an audiobook in 2 weeks, and it was the best thing ever. It really was. And I don't know. What started your love, Jerry? Because I can tell you exactly what started my love. It was college. It was the freedom of doing what I wanted. That was the first thing. I didn't listen to any audiobooks, nothing, anything Star Wars really until my first year of college. And it was Heir to the Empire, which is pretty interesting. But Jay, what was yours? What started that love?
Well, and okay, I'm glad you clarified, because I was like, which audiobook started my love? And what got me started is I was doing my recruiting job for the college I used to go to right before we moved up here to Michigan. And so I was driving all around Arkansas, couple hours, like 4 to 5 hours a day, like just driving around and stuff, going to schools and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it was. And then like going to churches on Wednesday nights and everything, like a couple hours back and forth. So 4 hours down to church, 4 hours back. It was wherever, it was a lot of driving. And so I got tired of a lot of my music pretty quick.
Me too.
Not tired, but I was just like, I want to listen to something different. So I got really into podcasts.
Yep.
And I had unlimited data on my phone because it was paid for by the school, and because it was for recruiting.
Nice.
So I did the most legal thing I could, and I looked up audiobooks on YouTube. Back in the day, you could have like your phone plugged in to charge, and you could have the audio jack in. But welcome to the future, kids. You can't do that anymore. Well, you can if you're not old like me. But anyway, so yeah, I would look up. That's how I listened to Plagueis and all that kind of stuff. And I know that makes me a little bit of a scumbag, but I started getting the stuff like that. Hey, you got to get it in any way you can. I really wanted it, but I'm telling you, I can't even remember the first one I listened to. I think it was honestly the first of the new. I think the one that got me hooked was the first of the new canon books, which was it was the Kanan and Hera book before it was
Heir to the no, I know exactly
no.
which one you're talking about.
We got to think of it. I can see the cover in my head. But it's basically Hera and Kanan like meeting on Gorse. Gorse was one of the planets and stuff. And I just remember there was a bad guy. New Dawn. A lot of people hated that book. Like a lot of people complained and were like, it's boring. I ate it up, man. And I mean, I was listening to it. I was like so enthralled, and like I was casting characters in my head as I was listening. There's a character named Skelly, who I cast at the time, Jackie Earle Haley, as if you know who I'm talking about. Jackie Earle Haley, he was Rorschach in Watchmen, and he was in the Nightmare on Elm Street reboot that everyone hated. I think that dude is like he does the really gravelly, crazy men voices really well, but I don't know. It just really, I just saw him whenever I listened to that audiobook. But anyway, just that's and it just you felt transported, right? It was the beginning of a new era. I thought there was a lot of good like action and twists and turns. The villain was horrifying and just like oh, I hate this guy, like Count Vidian.
Okay.
I don't know if you've ever heard or listened to anything. Basically this like glorified business manager, like this like CEO, essentially, okay, don't get mad at me, anybody. It was essentially Donald Trump. But if Donald Trump had replaced most of his body after a horrible accident with mostly robotic parts and synth skin over the face and everything, but left still like red eyes and orange face and all that kind of stuff. Tiny hands. Anyway, it was horrifying and also just like what I couldn't picture it. And I still have not found if there's any fan art or any like official images of Count Vidian. If there's not, can we make a hashtag show us Vidian, show us your Vidian or something? No, not show us your Vidian.
I like it.
Hashtag show us Count Vidian or something, because I really want to see. It would be, if you listen to it, you're like, how would this be realized on like in live action or something? Because it is horrifying and weird, and it's the beginning of Rebels. It's how Hera and Kanan met, and it's a great love story too, like opposites attract and kind of a thing. And Kanan's story, man, this is where he gets the cowboy Jedi from. He's the most cowboy Jedi, like cowboy in that book. He's working as a miner and goes to the bar at night and like works the bar, you know, and like it's great book. I guess I'm going off on books and stuff. So anyway.
Well, that's what this is meant for, because you wouldn't have had this much of a connection if it weren't for the audiobook. And like, dude, I've never been one to read and listen to an audiobook. I just can't do it, because something about a drive, something about doing something monotonous, doing something that kind of is droning, you let your brain, wander. And like, literally, there's books that have taken me places, I'm going to be honest with you, that Clone Wars has never, or Rebels has never, or even some of the movies have never. Like, just visually and with words they use, like, I mean, literally, I was listening to the Plagueis book, and it's just like the king of adjectives. Like, there's just James Mosquito just knows how to help me visualize it. And the audiobook, whenever it's being read to you in a character's voice, in the narrator's voice, whatever, the music, the sound effects, I mean, that's the most important thing. Like, the productions of these audiobooks are almost second to the TV shows. And I don't even need a visual, because it's all I can see all of it in my head. And like, I don't know, I've just been blown away by each one of them for their very own reasons, Jerry?
Yeah. Oh, me too. And like, again, you were talking about Mark Thompson. Mark Thompson narrates the New Dawn audiobook and stuff. And so I think that is what really cemented him as he has a very good range with his characters and stuff. January Lavoie is also a good one. She's reads a lot of the female books and stuff like that. But there's a lot of good audiobook readers, but there's something about Mark Thompson But seriously, these books, like I didn't know that they were so like audio dramas. And I know everyone was excited about Count Dooku. Or Dooku Padawan Lost or whatever, you know, and like, oh, whoa, this is really cool. It's like a production. I'm like, yeah. They're all like that. I mean, I know like they had a full cast, right? You know, or like most, they had a cast who played a couple different characters each.
Yes.
But it's the same thing, you know. I mean, you got to get over like Mark Thompson doing a slightly feminine voice. And honestly, I don't even, after a while, I'm just like, it's not like he's going, oh, hello. I'm a pretty girl. It's no.
If the character permits it, which is great too, because he does
character work.
Yes, literally when he does Leia, it's the cadence, the feeling of the phrases, like it sounds like
he's done young Leia and
like,
General Leia too, which is really cool. And they both sound like they're on point.
See, and to me, they elevate the books. Like they help me understand, because Jerry, I know you suffer ADD, and sometimes I feel like I might have at some point. It was just undiagnosed, because here I am when I read certain things, like I have to read like 4 or 5 times for me to really get it. But with the audiobook, I'm literally like let's say if it's a big moment in an audiobook, I'm like every second I'm more drawn in, more so than I would be reading it. And some people have a mind, and some people have this ability to be able to read and take it all in that way. But for me, it's got to be like it's got to be just a story. And like, I don't know. I've listened to, let's see, probably like 10 or 15. And wait, real quick shout out. There's a great app that Jerry showed me back like in December called Libby. And essentially what it does is it takes your library card information and it shows you your digital catalog for your library. And you can get literally for free, like any Star Wars audiobook is generally going to be in there. And like, I've listened to Plagueis.
They had The Rise of Skywalker right after it came out.
Yes, right after it came out. So like, I don't know. I think that has changed everything for me, because I will say, if you want to own the audiobooks, they're about $25 a piece. They are not cheap. And I was doing that up until I found Libby, and I kind of regret it, because Libby also holds your spot from where you left off, which is the biggest thing with audiobooks. Honestly, you know, like it frustrates me when that doesn't happen that way, but it's so good.
Audible has done that for me in the past, and I've done a lot of like Audible like trials and stuff like that. And you know, I had an Audible subscription as a gift from my in-laws for a couple years because of my job at the theater and all that, or not the theater, at my job, you know, where I got to listen to a lot of stuff. I'm jumping all over my career path through life, but. I also need to say, if you really want one, and we need to save money and stuff, but we also need to vote with dollars. We also need to vote with dollars sometimes, just to let them know what we like. But the library thing is a more legit way to get it, because I'm sure they can get some of that data or whatever. You know, like this has been checked out this many times. I don't know how that really works, but audiobooks really do. They are an investment. They're an investment of time and an investment of funds. So but yeah, again, like you said, that is an easy way to kind of get around it and all that kind of stuff.
Well, one of the best parts with the audiobooks is, like you just said, they are an investment. They're just like reading a book. I mean, there have been times where I've been trying to read a book and I can barely get to the first 10 pages and be like, I can't do this. But with an audiobook, if this is a good thing. I tried listening to Gene Simmons' autobiography, and I knew after an hour it wasn't for me. And the best part about Libby is you can turn it back in. I was like, I just don't like this. And there have been times with Star Wars audiobooks where I'm like, I gotta get through it. Last Shot was one of them. It was interesting, but I was like, I gotta kind of get through it. And
I know what you mean.
If you want to, real quick, we have a segment we do with most of our guests called Best, Favorite, and Most Fun. They've never asked you this. What is the best, favorite, and most fun of the audiobooks you listen to? Or if you want to list the ones you've listened to, you can, because I can do mine real quick. Do you mind if I do that?
Do you want to? Do you want to do our lists and then?
And then
Okay.
sure. Yeah.
Well, I didn't know if you want to do like, yeah. Okay, let's go. Let's go.
Okay.
You go.
Go.
You go.
List, the ones I've listened to, okay, and some of the, I don't know, they're all so good. From a certain point of view, A New Hope, which is going to be great because we're getting the Empire Strikes Back one in like November or October. That's going to be phenomenal.
I'm so glad they finally announced that.
Oh, I can't wait. I know. I was actually really worried.
I bet that was coming in Celebration, which
I know. I bet it was.
Oh, we might have to talk about that in a couple episodes.
We will. All three of the Thrawn novels, I own all of those. I've bought all those. Some of my favorite Star Wars storytelling, just because Timothy Zahn is just, one of my favorite lines Timothy always uses in his stories is, in a heartbeat, or like he describes moments in heartbeats. I'm like, that's so cool. Heir of the Empire, another one I listened to. Plagueis, Darth Plagueis, just got through that one. Last Shot, which I enjoyed. Rise of Skywalker, which I'm doing right now, actually. Catalyst, which was chef's kiss. I blew me away. And Resistance Reborn. So I've had a couple under my belt, and I want to get more. I mean, I've listened to like autobiographies of people and stuff, like Keith Richards, Bill Clinton, George Bush. Like I've listened to
Could you hear Bill Clinton over the saxophone music or anything?
Yes, the whole time he's just playing sax. He's actually talking mouthpiece. He's like, so you can hear it through the horn.
Hillary. I can't do it.
Pretty good.
It's almost slipping into George territory because I did the
Keith Richards one was narrated by Johnny Depp. Insane.
No way. Well, they're like because that's who he based. He based not Johnny Depp, Jack Sparrow on.
Yeah. But anyway, Jerry, your list, man. If you can pull just some you've listened to, and I've never asked you this because it seems Jerry's like I think Jerry is the pro at this. He is the audiophile of the Bombadcast.
I do enjoy a good, and again, I've fallen behind on it. I've been trying to listen through. What is it? I've been trying to listen through one. I've only gotten halfway through and all that, so I'm way behind with everything. But man, best favorite, most fun. So if I had to choose the best, man, it's probably going to end up being a Claudia Gray novel because Claudia just
kills it.
She knows how to write Star Wars. She gets it. And man, there's a couple of hers that are just really awesome.
Wait, real quick. How many have you listened to? Probably like 20, 30?
A lot of the first run ones, like there was whenever I got my first subscription to Audible for as a gift, I used all my 12 credits.
Wow.
Plus one. One day I went and just got all the novels at the time that were out. And so it was like stuff like the first Aftermath, which the Aftermath trilogy, the Aftermath trilogy is really good. And it's better than people give it credit for. That's what I'll say. Okay. So I'll give that an honorable mention. Okay. But I mean, even the one that was based on the arcs of the Clone Wars, with Asajj Ventress and Dark Disciple, Asajj Ventress and Quinlan Voss. If you haven't, you need to get on that one, Scotty.
I would love to.
Is amazing. It's amazing.
So
good.
I get right now.
You can sense the Clone Wars in there, but it's more like the mature, more mature like Siege of Mandalore, but even more mature because they kind of beefed it up a little bit in the audiobooks. The novels are a little more, they put a little more adult stuff in it.
Okay.
For all you sickos out there. But anyway, all you edgelords calling for the rated R Star Wars movie. Yeah, come on. Yeah. Anyway, if I had to choose the best, though, I'd say it's probably, and I think a lot of people will agree, is Lost Stars.
Yeah.
It was one of the ones that came out with The Force Awakens, and it was marketed. It was marketed as a YA novel, young adult novel.
Yes.
And a lot of people were like, at that time, again, edgelord. This is why anytime Disney or anytime Lucasfilm announces something and it's like, or anyone announces like, we're doing a YA novel or we're doing this or that, I don't roll my eyes or anything, because like we always are proven like, always. It's not, and people are always like, oh, Twilight. That's why people don't want to give Robert Pattinson a chance in the new Batman movie, because he was Edward from Twilight. But it's like, have you seen any of the new films he's in? The dude is a killer actor. Like, the dude can do it. Like, he can kill it. Anyway, this isn't neither here nor there. But just that novel it spans the entire original trilogy, and it's a little Forrest Gumpy and stuff. I don't know if you've listened to that one. Have you listened to? I would check that one out. I want to hear what you have to say. You write that down. Okay, we might have to do episodes. We might have. Sorry. We might have to do episodes just on these books alone and stuff, like after the fact. Like we're doing an episode on this audiobook. Just talk about the story and all that kind of stuff, like some commentaries. Hey, let us know in the comments or on Twitter, guys. Let us know if you want us to do some like breakdowns of some of these novels and stuff, that me and Scotty are listening to, because give them the Bombad, build-up treatment. But anyway, not that bad. It's we don't have like 12 hours every week. So
I loved them. So
yeah, wait, not like listening to them a couple, but anyway, check that one out though. It's like Romeo and Juliet, set to the backdrop. Like the backdrop is the entire original trilogy. Sure. And it's like one is an Imperial and one becomes a rebel. I knew that. It's star-crossed lovers, and it all ends on Jakku. Like there's like the end. I ruined it for you, I guess. I won't tell you the ending, but it's that whole thing is just, and it's like I haven't seen the novel or it's a manga now. Okay. And stuff. I say it right? Did I say it right, edgelords? Did I say? I'm just kidding. I'm joking. You don't have to be an edgelord to like manga. I used to say manga because I was from Arkansas. But anyway, okay. So there, my audiobook answer for the best. Oh, my favorite, I think, is Resistance Reborn. Wow. Resistance Reborn was everything that I like. It was the payoff for listening to all of these books from the past. It really was. That's sick. And maybe it should be most fun. I don't know, because there was just like every moment I was in tears for a lot of moments through this thing, like just the struggle of the Resistance trying to rebuild itself. The family connections. And I know people like make fun of Wedge showing up right after, Snap, getting blowing up on Exegol. But you get all of that relationship there see where they were and all that. And I'm sorry, guys, they can't put everything from the audiobooks into the films. Sorry. Yeah. But there's just so many great moments. As long as in your head. In that. You know what I mean? I really loved it because it was like and I don't know, the ending was okay and all that, but it was just, I don't know, just really, really awesome. I love that. And gosh, so most fun. This is hard because they're all like fun. There's not any of them that's just like, whoa, like I guess maybe certain point of view is really fun. Well, I don't know if I'll talk about that. Yeah, that was going to be my answer for most fun was certain point of view, because you go from like literally one of the funniest ones is like
you go from like this. The first one's insane. It's like Captain Antilles like getting killed and like him freaking out when
Oh, dude.
I'm like, oh,
I take
so
it.
intense.
It's not fun. It's not fun. Because there's a story in there about a guy who is in the rebels who sends his daughter, his baby daughter, to Ran before it gets blown up,
dude. And then the Dianoga having its like existential like crisis, like it's like
that was the most EU thing I've ever like heard.
Wait,
like
the best one, the one that's because this is where it's the most fun because it messes with your emotions. You get the Amberu monologue, which I never knew I needed. And it's so weird. He's like, yeah, you know, Luke. It's like a whole thing. Amberu talking to whoever is reading it. It's so bizarre. Jot the Jawa. You get the guy who you get the mouse droids thing with Tarkin, and Tarkin's like a gay guy. Yeah. It's just
was it Tarkin?
Fun.
I was thinking
yes,
it's gotta be Tarkin and stuff, and it's like, yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
It's just funny because like I don't know, like that's the most fun to me. But Jay, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to jump over you. What's your most fun? Is it certain
did you do just best?
I'll tell you the best one. Okay. The best one to me so far, and it's I guess maybe because it's fresh, was Plagueis, because what it does for the Phantom Menace. Like literally, there's one line in the Phantom Menace where Qui-Gon mentions the pod racing on Malastare, and like that's literally a whole subplot where like where Plagueis and Palpatine are dealing with the senator from Malastare and dealing with all the things happening, like the fact that Gardula has the Bounty of Classic. She wants to revamp it, and he's mad, and he's trying to get back at both him, Palpatine, and Plagueis. Oh, it's just great. And like you meet a young Palpatine, which is just like, you learn how Palpatine like gets back at his parents. Oh, it's just literally and it takes place the very end, the last like 2 chapters or 3 chapters takes place during the Phantom Menace, and you see his perspective. Like there's that one part where Qui-Gon and Anakin have that conversation. Like Plagueis watches Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon have that. Anakin and Qui-Gon have that conversation before they leave to go to Naboo, talking about the midi-chlorians. Like he like force listens to them. It is, oh my God, it's just great, man.
Yeah.
And like the very end, like Palpatine it's all about the rise to power. It's just like how he orchestrated it was so well done. And that's the best to me. And my personal favorite, which is super controversial, I think. Like really, I do. Because I've heard so many different things. Thrawn Alliances was probably one of my favorites. I could listen to that one again. Because of the multiple
Is that the one with Vader?
Yes, it's the one where Anakin meets Thrawn on Batuu. And then later, Thrawn goes with Vader to Batuu. And like, that's where the whole term of Skywalking shows up. The fact that Anakin is called a Skywalker is interesting. Did you know this, by the way? I don't know if you know this.
Oh yeah, I've seen it. I've read that one, or listened to it. I haven't listened to the third one.
Neither of that's
Palpatine.
That's
treason, I think.
Treason, yeah. So
it's treason then.
So what I want to say is the reason it's the most fun to me is because there's just like favorite is because like there's this crazy element of story that I never thought about, like dual situations happening at different times, one dealing with Padme and the other one dealing with like I think the Grisk. So like it's just like I don't know. Timothy Zahn's such a great story writer, and Eli Vanto's not in it. He's not even in it because he's dealing with the Chiss ascendancy. So I don't know. I'm a big Thrawn guy, and it was because of the novels, and actually it was because my honorable mentions Heir to the Empire. That audiobook is incredible because that was Mark's like I think it was like his like 4th or 5th audiobook. So he was still trying to find his footing, and it's just it's long. It's great.
It's pretty. That was like the re-release of it too, because he wasn't probably doing it back when that came out. But oh man, that what am I thinking?
East of Mari. I just remember this. It's just so EU.
So many words that are so hard to say. Like Timothy Zahn invented the 50 hyphen. Star Wars names.
Yes.
But I'm trying. Okay, I've been thinking about it. my most fun. And I think I'm just going to go to another one I liked. I'll give New Dawn another shout out and everything. Good. Because people sleep on that one. I think it was a pretty interesting, fun story. The villain was pretty good. Plus, it was the debut. It was the first time you ever see Ray Sloan. She was just the captain at the time. It's her starting out. She had just taken over for a commander was like out of service or sick or something. She took over a Star Destroyer for the first time. That's in New Dawn. She takes on Hera and Kanan. She's dealing with Count Vidian and all that kind of stuff. And it's so good. So good. Then I think I'm just going to have to go with another one that I just like for my most fun. And that is Leia, Princess of Alderaan.
Good book.
And a lot of people are like, well, they did like Holdo was different in the book because they were going to do more of a Luna Lovegood kind of feel. If you're familiar with the Harry Potter character, kind of more loopy, but still smart and stuff. I don't know. And I'm fine with it because people are different. Like you grow up and everything. It's the whole thing with Luke Skywalker. People saying, "Oh, he was different in, Return of the Jedi than he was in TLJ," which is false in my opinion, humble opinion. But anyway, it's just I don't know. There's a lot of stuff in that book from like they go to Crate. It's like Leia basically. You spend a lot of time with Bail and Bria Organa.
So awesome.
And learn so much about them that we haven't really seen before and stuff. And like, it's really kind of sad at the beginning because Leia feels like she's like, I know they love me, but they do not spend any time with me. And it's because they're running the rebellion secretly, right?
Yeah.
Like funding it. That, right? And they're trying to keep her like out of it. She goes to Wobani at the beginning.
Oh, wow. Cool.
And is like visiting the prisoners there and like the refugees, the people are like, it's like way worse than it looks on Rogue One. Yeah, like people are starving and it's just horrible. And it's when she's an Imperial senator in training. She's like in an Imperial senatorial youth program or whatever. And she's doing basically it's why all the people in the galaxy hate the Alderaan because they're doing all those peaceful missions to take food to the lowlifes who are, starving and not contributing anything to the galactic society or whatever. And it's very, very, very good. There's just a lot of cool stuff in there. And also you get to see a little glimpse of Leia kind of using the Force a little bit like the Force. She's able to do a move and she just kind of talks about how she doesn't really understand how she was able to do that, but just she was able to
so good
make a cool jump or something,
though. That's the beauty of the novels is they have the opportunity to do that. It's not even retconning, it's elaborating on what we didn't know we had before. And right. And literally the Rise of Skywalker novel is so good because you can write extra Leia dialogue. And it's great for that reason. Because we wouldn't have gotten that in the movie because of Carrie Fisher's passing. So it just you get those opportunities that you would never get, and that's a great answer, Jerry. I need to listen to that one. I have not. I've watched Alexander's reviews of it, and he praises it. So I don't know.
Again, people slept on a lot of these, like some of those books that are like a little more like. I don't know. Don't sleep on any of them. There's good stuff in all of them. Last Shot was very hard to get through. It was, and I don't know if I really liked the whole robot.
Yeah.
Anyway, the big robot, the Borg cube, essentially, from Star Trek. I know Star Trek things. It is. I think ish. I don't.
No, that was right. That's the point. It depends on the book and the author too. Like sometimes these books read well and sometimes they don't read well, and you can tell the ones that don't read well. And thankfully I've only had there's parts of Catalyst that I didn't think read well, but the story of Catalyst was great and it made my Rogue One experience like 10 times greater. Like I
almost forget about Catalyst all the time. That was really great. Like how you have there's the Dr. Goobaba, or
Yes, I know you're talking about.
It's the little floaty mushroom head squid guy from Clone Wars who's putting the weapons in the astromechs. In Rick's favorite episode with what's his name? The frog guy.
You're thinking of Nemor Gascon.
Meeber Gascon, yes. But in the droid arc that no one likes, the first episode,
I love that
like
arc.
the guy, like the crazy
arc.
doctor, like, oh, I'm taking out your brain.
Yes.
That's the doctor, and he's like doing a briefing on the Death Star in the Imperial era. Awesome. I'm like,
so awesome.
You pulled that guy from that and put him. Well, I love that stuff. Man.
It was that one. There was a whole chapter about Poggle the Lesser, and I was like, never thought.
Yes, and how the Geonosians were, building the.
Dude, so that's my next.
There's so much good stuff.
It's so important to mention this. We're in a weird time right now, Jerry, and I know you're aware of it. Maybe our listeners are, but books are being released without a book. You get an audio book first. That comes first. It's more of an audio drama. And I think this is the next step in regular fans maybe reaching to get something new. Like, honestly, if they were to do something crazy like the Snoke backstory, the best way to do it would be releasing it as an audiobook. I mean, it would generate more money maybe, but it also, you got to think about it. It would definitely get more people to be like, man, these are good, because the Dooku Jedi Lost novel, amazing apparently. I haven't listened to it yet, but I mean, they had a cast of people. Same with the Afro audiobook, which is interesting. That's going to be this first time this character is coming over from comics into books, and people love Afro. She's got a huge fan, and they're going to listen to the
big
whole
Afro fans, man.
12-hour, 10-hour audio drama of it, and that just excites me because it's going to get more people listening. So, what do you think of the next step, Jerry? Do you think it's going to be pretty awesome? For people like me, it's great. I'm going to look forward to it regardless.
Well, I mean, I think, and again, this is not, don't think we're like Fahrenheit 451. That's the thing, right? Where they burn all the books and stuff. Sure. I don't think that's going to happen. Like we have to see, who gets elected next, I guess. I'm sorry. I'm joking. But gosh, we're not saying like they're going to, not ever release books ever again, but I think it is becoming like they've seen that people are into that, and people, they're like, Star Wars has always been about the audio dramas. You had the audio dramas back on, NPR or BBC or whatever.
I've listened to the radio drama. It's great. The New Hope one, it's so weird because it talks about like, there's just weird stuff in that one. I can talk about that later. But
well, it like has a lot of deleted scene stuff, right? And,
and like
or they write stuff that like to connect scenes because it's a different medium.
Yes, it's so weird because it's like not canon and like they pronounce everything really crazy. But you know what I mean? It just kind of how it is. But anyway,
right? Well, and a lot of that kind of stuff. Like that's how a lot of fans like had the movie. Like they didn't have the movie on like VHS or anything yet back in like, and if it came back to the theater a couple years later, that's when you got to see it. And so you would like listen to the dramas and tape them and all this. Like I kind of remember those days. Mm-hmm. I don't want to go back to it because it's just so like we're so fat and lazy now where we get all of our stuff, but I'm not going to complain and be like, oh, your kids have it so easy because I have it easy too. And I'm really glad. I get to enjoy it. But anyway, I'm excited for it for sure because again, it's not unlike the radio dramas, but it's more well produced, well done, and it's not unlike the audiobooks either. Honestly, the audiobooks are the same. Mm-hmm. There's been audiobooks that have used multiple like audiobook narrators, Sure. Certain Point of View, I believe, did that.
Yep.
Like it was just a bunch of different people reading the stories and things. And they,
John Hamm did Boba Fett. There was like there's some weird like
they had a lot of like random people coming in too,
there was one of them. Keep talking though, because that's a good point. Because you can make it to where it's not just Mark Thompson. You can make it to where like Amy Poehler comes in and does a droid or something crazy, you know?
Right. Well, and gosh, I think they might start doing the audiobooks a little more like that, because the audiobooks, if you listen back, like the episode 1 and 2 and episode 1, 2, and 3 novelizations are not dramatized like that. I mean, they are, but it's like one guy reading, and it's just kind of playing Star Wars music. There's no sound effects and stuff.
So weird.
It's a little. I was going to get one of those a while ago because I was like, oh, I want to, and I still need to listen to those and stuff because I hear there's a lot of good stuff in there. But there's nothing like the Star Wars audiobooks, like they really produce them well. And I still haven't like ran into a lot of like, they just, even if it's an audiobook or it's an audiobook and they treat it like a radio drama, right? Like an audio drama. Like they've got the sound effects and everything. And so
it's so good. And I just looked at the list of the people that did it, just like the really well-known people. Like it was Neil Patrick Harris did one. Gina Gavankar did one that had nothing to do with
Iden Versio.
Neil Patrick Harris, John Hamm, let's see.
I forgot about the John Hamm thing, but that's hilarious and awesome that he did Boba Fett.
Huge. And like, I don't know. So with all that being said, this next step could be really cool. And it could be just, I mean, look, let's be real here. We're going to have new content in the next couple of years. It's obvious. We know the rumors and the murmurs of stuff, but we won't have a movie for two or almost 3 years from now. So what better to hold fans out than giving him the certain point of view audiobook, the new Empire Strikes Back one that has Mark Hamill doing whatever, or dude, literally if they found a way to get the cast of the originals or whoever, Anthony Daniels, to come back and do something, like regardless of how good it is, people will buy it and it'll be great. Yeah. And I listen to it. And I don't know. I think there's so much quality in these that no one has appreciated. That most people don't appreciate. But like, I don't know. Like I feel like I can name 5 content creators that I know listen to audiobooks, and then it's about it. There's no one talks about them. And I thought this was a good discussion because that's the next step. That really is the next step in terms of audio storytelling, no visual, just audio. It works, G?
Yeah. That's again, it's an old medium kind of coming back, right? Like audio drama and all that, because that's what they used to do back in the day. And sure. So it's like it's popular again, and especially with Star Wars stuff, if you produce something well, people are going to listen. They're going to want to hear it and see it, and I understand, you have the conversations with people on, you like to have the book in your hands and stuff. And that's good. I understand that. I, again, trained myself over the years of having jobs where I'm driving a lot or standing, doing nothing. And so I'm, they're saying you can listen to music or whatever. Like you get through, like, dude, I used to get through an audiobook in like 2 to 3 days, if not less. Like, yes. Depending on how long it was. Cause if you work like if you work overtime, I'd work like 12 hours in a day. Right. Okay. And it's just like insanity. And you could get through you could just keep going. Cause I'm just taking breaks to eat and all that kind of stuff. Then coming back, going right back to it, And so it's just,
it's beautiful.
It's beautiful. It's a good way to not even waste time. It's a beautiful way. I can't tell you how many of these things, the audiobooks, the way they're read and stuff, and just the thoughts and the ideas and the stories, the emotions of the characters have made me emotional and brought me almost to tears at work, and different things like that. Like,
well, this is my next big thing. We didn't talk about this yet because I want to bring up just a couple of moments from these books that have like either made you emotional or made you think things of a new of a character, or like even there's moments in some audiobooks where I'm like, well, that if that was in the movie, that could have like that could have been the Vader in the hallway moment, like that good. A couple of moments that come to mind. One of them that people do not like, and I think it's great. There's one where Vader has a second version of his suit. This might give away a little bit, but in Thrawn Alliances, he uses the Force to manipulate another, I guess not a second version, but it is a second copy of his suit that he has lying around on a Star Destroyer. He uses the Force and his lightsaber to walk with that suit. Like literally, like he walks that suit using the Force as a distraction for against the Grisk. And it's just, I was like, that is freaking amazing. Like that's like twist. That's like a great twist of, because you don't know it until they reveal that he was using the Force to manipulate the movement of this like fate. Oh, I was like, that's so freaking sick. That's a cool visual, G.
That's Luke on Crate.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, dude. Technically, you're right. And another moment I fell in love with was the most recent one. Plagueis, literally when Palpatine goes to kill Plagueis, like this whole time you're reading the book and you're like, man, Plagueis is a jerk to Palpatine. And you're sitting like, you hear he's just manipulative and evil. And there's this part where Palpatine gets to have his monologue, his Tarantino monologue, while he's Force lightning Plagueis to death.
Definitely. Yeah.
I was literally, I had to stop working. I was like, had to listen to this, like literally like this, like I couldn't believe it. It was so intense, Jerry. And those two moments stand out to me more than anything. And of course, one more, the one that made me cry was the Jawa when he had the opportunity to watch the Star Wars story and like have this huge existential crisis while watching this poor astromech. Like he saw this astromech droid as like the most important thing. So I don't know. I don't know. I love these books, man. I really do. They get me going almost more than the shows do. They just do. They have something about it.
There is, you're in the character's head, so you almost like feel.
Oh, totally.
It's so much empathy for them whenever things are going wrong and everything. Yeah, sure. I know what you mean. Gosh, it's hard because I've listened to so many and it's been so long.
Yeah.
That I don't know if I can just pick out. I'm trying to think here. This isn't a top moment, but I remember being emotional about it. I hope we probably should have put a disclaimer at the beginning of this. We'll probably put it in the description of the video or whatever.
Yeah.
Spoilers for all of for some of these audiobooks.
Mm-hmm.
But in the Aftermath trilogy, the last book, the robot Mr. Bones.
Okay, I've heard this about.
He dies.
Oh, okay.
It gets destroyed. It is heart-wrenching and sad. There's a lot of moments in that series that are very like, oh man. Yeah. There is a what was it? There was a lot of moments in the Rise of Skywalker novelization.
Oh, I
bet. That
yet.
Like the Last Jedi novelization and the Rise of Skywalker novelization both elevated and I already loved The Last Jedi, and I did love Rise of Skywalker too, but it really helped me feel better about the stuff in Rise of Skywalker I didn't like. And I know a lot of people are like, you shouldn't have to read the book. It's funny how many people are saying that about the Rise of Skywalker now, who were like making light of people saying that for Last Jedi and stuff like that. Sure. But there's just different parts in there. I forget exactly. There were parts where I think big moments was towards the end when the fleet shows up and everything, and you've got them naming. Oh yeah,
don't you hear like
people? You hear like Hera call in, or whoever's in the Ghost saying, "This is the Ghost," and you even hear like basically Kaz.
Your Kazuda,
it all off and stuff like Kaz and
so cool.
It's a big moment.
Junkie, man, as a canon junkie, that must have been just like.
It was legit. I mean, it was like what everybody wanted to, in Rise of Skywalker.
In Triv,
Zay and Shriv come back. Yeah. Zay and Shriv, they're there too. You know, like Inferno. They call themselves Inferno Squad. You know,
So cool.
and it's just like, oh man, I'm kind of getting chills thinking, and I can't remember exactly the parts that like really affected me, but there were just some parts, man, where they're like telling Palpatine off, and I was like, yeah, F you, Palpatine, you suck. I was like in tears, like, yeah, pumping my fist, like, yeah, evil's dumb. You're dumb. Loving people is the best. Boom. You know, just like, I don't, just moments like that. Just really cool. Like,
Sure.
Pump your fist. Like, yes. That's what you go to Star Wars for, right? To be uplifted. And, you know,
Totally.
you get like knocked all the way down. Our heroes, they're the underdogs. They get knocked all the way down to the bottom, and then they pull it out of the ashes and just like absolutely annihilate bad people. Evil by being good. You know, it's never making the anti-hero choice and stuff, which we all love anti-heroes and stuff. And life is very complicated, but it's good. This is mythology, right? This is modern mythology. I'm going on another Can Junkie rant. This is modern mythology that Lucas wanted this to be. You know, it's that, the good guys win by just making good, morally right decisions, and like choosing what's right over even their own lives.
Totally.
And that is an important lesson for all of us to learn, you know, self-sacrifice for greater causes, or not even that, but just like smaller sacrifices, or doing what's right, even if you're the only one doing it, right? Anyway, there was a lot in that Rise of Skywalker novelization towards the end that I was like, oh man, you're getting me. You're getting me, man. I loved, and I'm trying to think. Ray Carson. Oh my gosh, she just knocked it out of the park for me and stuff. So I was also very happy with all the Palpatine stuff and all that. But anyway,
well, that's what I'm looking most forward to, because I'm kind of getting through it. I mean, I've watched The Rise of Skywalker like 10 times, so I'm like, okay, story. Like, I get it. Like,
there's a lot of choice Palpatine stuff in there. Like, they really just like dive right in. I was like, oh, I thought we were gonna get this in a couple of years. Okay, they'll elaborate more on it, I'm sure. But
well, thank you, Jerry, for elaborating so much on all this. No, seriously, like this is a fun discussion, because
I said at the beginning. Yeah.
I did. Well, here I am. No, but no, seriousness. Hey, it's me. Hold on. Hey, it's me.
It's me.
But in all seriousness, Jerry, I love doing this with you, and the fact that we get to talk about the audiobooks and we're both on the same understanding of them is great. So anyone else that's a huge audiobook fan, please be sure to share this with other people that you know that listen to the audiobooks. Make sure you subscribe to Beyond the Blast Doors to get more stuff like this. I mean, you can literally go and listen to Pete's recording with Mark, the guy who does the audiobooks. Like, it's such
I'm going to. I got to get to it. Oh,
there's a moment where I kind of teared up. I'm like, I didn't think I'd go this place. You'll see. You're going to say, wow, it's pretty strong. Make sure you share this with your people. If you are listening on Apple Podcasts or anywhere else you can review and rate us, please do that. 5 stars. You know we're the best. If you really liked it and you really want to really seriously contribute to the Patreon, please feel free. We get the money goes evenly to every person that works hard on this network. And I don't know, the more money we get, the more audiobooks. But no, in all seriousness, I think
you already told them about the library app. They're not going to believe that.
I know. Get the library app. Get the Libby app. But anyway, guys and gals, this is a good Bombadcast episode. Jerry, do you have anything you want to say before we leave?
Still read. You can listen to the audiobooks and stuff, but still read. Reading's good for you kids.
Except for
the
Rick.
more you know. Well, yeah, well, that happens. But anyway, no, not really. Just stay in school, kids. And if you read enough and listen to enough of these audiobooks, maybe we'll give you a coupon for a free personal pan pizza at Pizza Hut. They'll give you one of these cups.
But Boss Nass, what do you have to say?
You saw all Bombad. Stay bombad. Bye, everybody.
Everyone have a great rest of your audiobook.
Rest of your life. We'll see you later.
I hate you.
What did I do?
No, I'm being stupid. I was trying to do that. I'm trying to Lando. I'm trying to do the Lando. I hate you.
I know. You see how I caught onto that like a whip, like right there? I don't even know what that means. I watched too much Indiana Jones, caught on like a whip and stuff.
You shall all bomb